Hey, this is Mad Matt from Budget Boosting. Today we're going to show you how to change the rear struts on an 84 through 88 Nissan 300ZX, or the turbo model. The suspension is the same. Now on the rear suspension on these cars, the spring is separate from the strut or the shock. The front, the spring is within the strut assembly. So the front and the rear are very different, so we're going to make two videos on this. This video is going to be the rear. Another video is going to show you how to do the front, because it's a lot more time consuming and a lot more stuff has to be done because you have to deal with the spring tension. You have to put clamps on the spring tension to remove the springs to make sure they don't pop out and you don't get hurt, like get socked in the face by a strut tower. That's really fun. You end up missing teeth and all kinds of stuff. So I like to learn the easy way on things like that. Learn from other people's mistakes, not my own. So a little bit of prevention, prevents a lot of heartache in the long run. So we're going to get started here. First, get your tools that you need. Like I just went and picked up some rear struts. They're Gabriel Ultras from AutoZone. And you can get these different part stores and stuff. Gabriel's, you can get them all over the place. And get the tools all set. There'll have to be some ignition, or you'll have to remove some of the components inside the interior to get to the struts. Like for example, the spare tire compartment. There's a couple little fasteners that hold this on. Get the spare tire cover out of the way. You can almost reach in there and do them, but you got to see what you're doing, so you have to take the speaker cover off. I already took out the speakers because I didn't like the factory speakers, so factory speaker has to come out and out of the way. And then with the flashlight I can show you the nut that we have to take off to free this part of the strut. You have to take a nut off of this, and you have to hold the top with something so it doesn't spin. So here's the nut you have to take off, that nut. But in order to take it off, you have to have an Allen wrench or a tool to hold the part of the strut from spinning when you're removing the nut. So it's kind of like a two-handed method. It's always good to shoot some liquid wrench or some lubricant to help free the fasteners that haven't come off for many years. In this case, it's been about 27, 28 years since these struts have come off. So a little bit of penetrating compound to help make those nuts and bolts come off a little easier. So then you have to have a jack to jack the rear end of the car up, and you'll need to take your wheel off, the wheel that you're doing the strut on. You don't really have to. You could probably get by without taking off the wheel, but it gives you a lot more accessory room to access what you're doing and more light. So you get more room to work with. So I'm just going to take the rear wheel off to get more access to the strut, or the shock in this case. Usually when they come from the box, they come with the wire you have to take off. So they come fully compressed, so you have to cut this wire to allow the strut to come up. But I'll probably do it a little later, after I remove the old strut, get the new one in position, cut the wire and let it raise, and then bolt the other one in. Okay, as you can see, take a look at the shock and the spring. They're separate on this particular car. Might have to fight a few spiders to, get my way in there, but hey, that happens sometimes, these little spiders. See, there's a spider right there I have to battle with to make sure I can get in there and do my job. Bye-bye, spider. Okay, so what we're basically going to do is we're going to approach the nut from the top, loosen it, and then, all right, more critters. He didn't follow me that time. We're going to take the top off first, remove the bottom, and slowly lower it down, so this boot will be transferred to the next strut. This is still in good shape. And the spring will just lower a bit, but it should not come all the way out. What I'll do as a precaution is put another jack under here, so as I slowly lower down, I can control the speed I'm lowering down, so it doesn't just fall down on the ground. So that's how I'm going to approach this. Alright, let me get some more stuff together and we'll continue. I'm also supporting the shock with the jack too, so when I take the bolt off, I can control how slowly everything lowers down, or how drastically. I'm going to put a little tension on that, and then I'll be able to release it little by little to slowly lower everything off. So it gives me a little bit more control. Okay, I'm going to loosen the nut here while holding the top with the Allen wrench while removing the nut with an open end wrench, because that's about all the room you have. Because you can't go straight in with the ratchet, because then you can't get the Allen wrench to fit in there. See how fun they make this for you? So you gotta do it like this. Keep removing the top nut till it gets finger loose and easy to remove, which could take a little bit. I took the top nut and spacer off, and nut, washer, and spacer. And you look at the new hardware, it just doesn't look as good. But let's see if the nut fits it. The old nut fits the new hardware. If it doesn't, then I will have to use the new nut. It's kind of like a call that you want to make. Use their nut or the original nut. The original nut looks stronger, but may not fit as good, which this one does. So I have to use their new nut since it fits better. But I will use our washer and our spacer. So looking at how it would go, once this comes back up, we go on top like so. So just save this in the order it was done in, except use the new nut which was provided since it fits better. Okay, and looking up here, I will have to put some force from the bottom to press up on that on the neck when I install the new one. Okay, so keeping that in mind, pliers, this. Bring a few wrenches I think I'll need. And back we go. You see, it allows me to push up a bit. So that's what I'll have to do with the new one. Push up and compress the spring enough to feed the new one in. But now I'm going to work on the big bolt. It's a 19 and a 19. So I'll switch them. There's one easy way to remove something that's tight. Use a second wrench like this. It's a lot easier. You got more mechanical force behind it, see? So you don't have to go ba-doom, hit your hand. So you have more mechanical advantage using two wrenches like this. It's like using a breaker bar, but you're using two wrenches. The box end with the open end. Box end goes on open end like that. See? Works just kind of like a breaker bar, but now it's pretty loose. I should be able to continue without the two wrench method. Take the nut the rest of the way off with the bolt. Takes a little bit, but off it comes with a washer. So I just kind of keep the hardware together to be ready for the replacement. And looking in there, now we slowly lower the strut. Slowly lower it. And be ready to catch it when it goes down. Yep. There we go. Got the old strut out. kind of compare to make sure they look about the same. Well, there's not really a longer side than the other, so I'm just going to put it like they're about the same span. So I'm just going to put it in just in to out, like so. I'll put the nut in first. Put this first. Slide it in. Put the washer and the nut on. Get this all secured first. Kind of reverse the process here. And see how I haven't cut the wire yet? After this is when I'm going to cut the wire and let the strut go right up by itself and then help it out little by little with the jack. Tighten this. I'll tighten it almost all the way because I still have to move the strut a bit to guide it where it needs to go. Now I'm going to cut this wire that's in the way to allow this to uncompress the strut and guide it all the way up where I want it. And up it goes, up it goes, up it goes. And then I just tighten everything up on top. I'll start compressing everything till I'm happy. Get it all the way up till I see the spring compressed. I didn't have to fight the spider. The spider's still there in his web. I didn't have to deal with him yet. Maybe I'll just let him fall off when I start speeding. Now I'll tighten this all the way. Give it a little help with the second wrench. A little bit more tightness on it. And that's good and tight. Here's the original Bilstein strut that came with the Z. See, it has an Allen tip to hold that in place while you're putting the new nut on. You compare it to the new one here. And this one doesn't have an Allen tip. You have to put a tiny wrench around there while you're wrenching the nut down. So that's the big difference you can see right off the bat. But the distances here, from here to here, are the same. At least that's what it looks like. But this has thread all the way up. This one, the thread starts down about 1/4 inch. So I'm not going to reuse the washers from this Bilstein strut because looking at where the thread starts, it'll be too high. I won't have the room to start the thread, so I'm going to use it just the nut because of the space being here the same, but there's thread from here all the way, but this thread starts about 1/4 inch. So I'll have to do it with just the fastener, just the nut, without the washer on the new strut. So that's the difference. Okay, well, we've already got the top nut tightened up, the bottom bolt nuts tightened up, the strut, the new strut shock is installed and it's secure. So it looks like we're all done here. And next video we'll show you how to do the front, which is a lot more intense. Okay, well, thanks for watching Budget Boosting. If you like us on our YouTube page, like us on Facebook, and check out our budgetboosting.com website. Check it all out. Check on all the stuff there. Our Budget Boosting window stickers. Budget boost your car today. And like everything we do, remember, knowledge is power. It's horsepower. So now we'll go down with this. Kind of go in and out. And in the mount. There we go. And since get the belt fun. Put the belt there to hold things steady.